Once again, we've got one of my brother's cars in the shop, 335 E92 BMW, but this time around,
hooking him up with some sweet lowering springs so he can roll low and slow, bro. Yeah, it's a rainy day here at the Speed Academy Tuning Dungeon, but you know what? I'm not going to let that get us down. Instead, PT is going to get busy on the Beamer here.
That's right. So my brother's been complaining about the ride height on the BMW, and of course, I volunteered my services. We're going to install a set of H&R Sport Springs that lower the front by 1.3 inches and the back by 1.2. So let's get to this, and it looks like it's not a bad job, so this should be pretty simple.
Mac front strut like we're used to?
Yeah.
A couple bolts and we're good to go.
Well, I don't know about a couple, but it's a BMW after all, right?
It's true, they like to over-engineer things, so
exactly.
Let's see if the struggle is real or not.
Let's get to this. Before we go loosening any bolts, we're going to disconnect the ABS sensor here and the brake pad wear indicator sensor, because we're going to need to move this whole entire assembly outwards, and these may be a little bit on the short side, so don't take any chances. Disconnect these two. Alright, these are going to be crusty, full of dirt, but as you can see, if you use a screwdriver, you just push on the center tab and kind of pry it out slowly.
Don't stab yourself.
Yeah, don't stab yourself.
Don't break the connector.
I may break the connector. I'm getting there. Alright. Oh my god, there we go. Alright. So those are unplugged now. I get the lines out of the way here.
Alright, next step is remove this end link nut, which also holds a bracket on there for the brake line by the look of it.
Yeah. You're gonna have to use a nut on the other side.
Or a wrench on the backside.
A wrench.
Hold the bolt.
That's
Peter
right.
often calls bolts screws, and he calls nuts wrenches. You know, he gets.
Just watch the video. You don't need to listen to me.
It's true. It's all there.
That's all it's about.
See, that's a nut coming off there, buddy.
Yeah, I thought I was talking about the wrench back here.
You were.
So I was wrong either way.
Yeah.
We're gonna take the brake caliper off.
Oh, so you're in.
Yeah, so you'd think you don't need to take this off, but when the strut comes down and you're gonna pull all this out to remove the strut, the caliper is gonna be in the way. So you just got to go ahead and remove it. I know it seems counterintuitive here to be taking off the brake caliper to remove the suspension, but that's the way she goes. Complain to BMW, not me, people.
It's just 2 bolts, right? It's not a big deal.
To me, it is.
But it is a hex bolt, which is a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Well,
a size 7 hex bolt to be precise.
How do you know that, DP? You been doing your homework?
Dude, I use the internet like a ninja.
Did you read the manual yesterday before we did this job, or what?
Well, we cheated. We did the other side first. Let's be honest.
No, we didn't. What are you talking about? Well, first we got to take this clip off here. Bam. All right. So you want to push the caliper back in so the whole caliper itself slides off real easy. Look at that. Like butter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't want to let this hang. So what we've got here, bungee cord, and you don't want to hang it off the suspension because we're going to be taking that off. So there's a couple holes in the chassis, which are convenient. There you go. And we are almost ready to pop the top off. But before we do that, there is a sensor off to the side here, and I think it's for adjusting the lights. I don't know, another crazy BMW thing.
It's like a little pivot arm that moves the headlight up and down with the suspension motion.
Yeah.
It's actually a mechanical link.
Yeah, so we just popped it off. I think it may overstretch it if we're gonna. This arm's gonna come down while we pull the suspension off. So that's probably it.
And those arms are plastic, so they wouldn't like to be stretched.
Yeah. So you want to remove that.
Cool. Hey, look, you got Ken Wagon supervising behind you here, PT.
Yeah, my boss man, always making sure.
Cracking the whip back there, huh?
Good job here.
runs a tight ship.
Yeah.
So we've obviously moved to the strut towers here. Just
Nice
three
thing.
little 13 mil nuts.
Yeah, except one of them's
One is hidden underneath that brace.
kind of hard to get at.
It is a little bit hard to get at, but I believe you'll find a way.
Ah, the stubby little 13 wrench. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Loosey goosey. There we go. So with this bolt, the whole entire suspension is going to want to sag a bit, which is fine. Do not worry about it.
Doesn't have far to go. The
No.
suspension's still holding it up underneath.
Agreed. Next step here is to actually pull the strut from out of the fender well, and this can be a little bit tricky, so you may want to use your foot, kind of push it down.
I think turning
bob
the
it.
steering helped before,
Yeah,
you remember?
let's do that. Turn that in.
Take a screw.
Now it's slow and steady right around the fender lip.
Don't scratch the
You don't want to
paint.
scratch the paint. But bam,
She's out.
there we go.
All right, buddy. Pull that strut out of there.
Well, we're not pulling it out just yet. We got to loosen this bolt.
Right.
And it's the bolt that compresses the strut into the housing here.
Yeah, it does. It pinches
So-
it in there, right?
Yeah, so it pitches it in there. It's loose now, but it's not actually going to go anywhere.
You kind of have to
So you can
wiggle
see
it
it's
out.
really tight.
Yeah.
Now you got to pry it apart and then slowly start pulling it out. So actually this is best done with two people.
It is.
Because there's no way that we're going to do this. I'm going to do this by myself. I mean, you could try to wedge the pry bar in here and whatnot, but I don't want to do that. It's much better. I got Dave right here, so we're going to...
You're telling me to do some work?
Yeah, you're going to pretty much drop that camera for a sec and yank this sucker out.
Okay.
So that sucker is in there real tight, but when you pry it open and do it this way, slowly but surely will pop out. There she goes. I'm feeling it. Yeah. All right. So I know what you're thinking. Don't waste your time compressing the stock spring. You just loosen the bolt up top. Pop. That's how it goes. You don't want to do that. And I know why, because I did the other side. So compress the spring down. And now we can loosen the top here. Whoa, it's the wrong size. Oh, no, it's not. Oh. Our gun is dying here. No! Damn you, so close. Well,
That's it? You got a spare battery?
I've got no spare battery.
You got to do it the old-fashioned way?
Going to the human battery here.
The human battery.
Already sweaty enough. God damn it.
Hey, keep it PG, PT. You can't use potty language like that. Ooh. Almost
See?
feel it.
It still popped.
Yeah.
Didn't pop as much. Okay. Let's remove the old spring. Some of the top hat action. Pull this guy out here. Alright. Now. You know what sucks? We don't have a gun to loosen this.
Oh,
Take a
yeah.
lot of time, so yeah, let's cut this portion out.
All right.
So I've gone and compressed the H&R spring. There's no video of that because I sat here turning it over and over for 20 minutes.
Lies. He went back there and used the air compressor.
No. That's a lie.
All stories told
You
by
just
PT.
have to feel bad for me. Like, look at the sweat on me.
Well, it is 120 degrees Fahrenheit in here,
All right, so you just... The reason I'm sweating is because I'm turning wrenches.
it's 200% humidity.
Yeah. All right. So this is maybe common knowledge, but you got to make sure the top hat lines up with the end of the spring here. Sometimes people install it off and then you've got a crooked spring. See that? This is no good. This is good. So we're good there. Now let's get...
That's PT's pro tip for the day, everybody.
Everything back together here.
Align your spring with your top hat. And the bottom perch too, really. There's like a little divot in that one too.
Yes, indeed.
Before you put your top hat on, remember everyone to put your dust boot and bump stop in there. Not that Pete would ever
No, those are
that.
overrated actually.
You don't need those?
My suggestion is, yeah, doesn't matter. It's all good. Look at that.
Did you compress the spring enough to get the nut on?
Oh, of course I did.
Look at that, everybody.
See, look it.
PT's on point today.
Room to spare.
Look at that.
In order to tighten the top nut here, what you should be using is a BMW specialty tool, an open-ended deep socket wrench, and then you can put an Allen key and turn this. But if you're going to do it our way, you grab a gun, you put it on, and you zap it. Now, I know this is a bad idea, but guess what? If you're careful with it, it works.
It's fine.
See, now I've hit my torque level on the first one. Now we're going to go a little bit more. There it is. I can feel it.
Bottomed it out?
Yep, it's bottomed out. So we're good to go on that, tightened up. Yes, you can't torque this properly, but it's a suspension piece that the chassis holds between the wheel and the chassis.
We can torque it once it's on the car, don't worry.
We're not going to torque it. This is good.
This is good.
This is good.
I agree.
Final piece of the puzzle here is to remove the spring compressors. What you want to do them evenly so you don't bind the springs up. Alright. Okay. So to put that back in, obviously we're doing the opposite procedure of taking it out. Now, I'm going to carefully push down on the strut again, clear the fender here, and continue to slide it back into place. And you may want to use a jack, or you can try to be Superman like I'm going to and just slide it in and get it to line up. So let's see if I can do this without screwing it up.
Come on, Superman. Oh, look at that.
Oh,
true to his word.
There you go. So now we're just going to tighten these bolts up, and then we can move on to putting everything back together down below. Oh yeah.
So the reinstall continues. Pete's just tightening down that bottom strut bolt.
Yeah.
Pinching it in there nice and tight.
And I'll get the control arm on, caliper in, and let's just move on to the back here.
All right. And of course the torque specs, we know those by heart. You guys can look them up on the internet. It's all there.
Exactly. Piece of cake. At the back here, we've got the lower control arm that we're going to unbolt, which should technically allow us to push down on it and pull the spring out, but I know from doing the other side that you actually got to loosen the shock mount as well. So let's get to that and see if I can bang this out in 10 minutes, because it's just getting way too hot here to keep working, right, DP?
Oh man.
I'm dying.
Cold shower time.
I can see you're sweating and you're just holding the goddamn camera.
My lazy ass is sweating from not doing any work, I know. All right, pipes, let's see a full flex here. Let's go.
Nope.
She's tied like a tiger. The impact gun is right there.
The impact gun ain't gonna do this.
You don't think?
My pipes can't move that.
Your pipes are more powerful than an impact gun?
Well, we're about to find out, unless my pipes just loosened it.
Yeah, the classic excuse.
Well, we're not gonna find out anyways, because I can't get it in there, but...
You get it on this side.
I'm gonna try to hit it on this side anyways. Yeah. You're right. Let's do it. Not a chance.
Really?
Yeah.
Disappointed in your pipes and the impact gun.
Well, you and me both. So, this is going to be the Double combination here.
Full jam, bro.
Ah!
Wow.
God damn!
Those Germans are strong when they tighten their bolts, huh?
Who did this?
I think it was Hans and Franz. They were pumped up.
Yeah. Wow. I want to talk about over-torquing a bolt.
They're very strong in Bavaria, Peter. Wow, that is nuts.
That is nuts, right?
No pun intended. Man.
Oh, we're coming through. All right. Wow.
Yeah.
I think I may have gave myself a hernia there.
Well, you got a workout in today, that's for sure.
Yeah. We've got two bolts here that hold the shock absorber in place. They've got these fancy Torx bolts on them. But the standard 10 mil works. So I'm going to use that because I don't have fancy Torx sockets. Use the impact gun method to remove this long bolt. There we go. You see, the problem is the shock is kind of caught up in its mounting bracket.
Yeah, it's got a weird sort of pocket it sits down in, eh?
Yeah. So you kind of got to weasel that guy out too.
All right, so there is the lower shock mount. As you can see, it kind of sits down in a cavity that is a bit tricky to pop the strut out of, but PT will use his magic pry bar here and
let's see if I can get this.
See if he can do it with the camera jammed on his head.
See, once it's got to come out before the arm will move from here, but it's a bit of a fight today. Let me tell you. See?
It's always a fight, man. Working on cars is never easy.
No, you're not wrong, my friend. I was able to pop the lower control arm a little bit further away from the hub, and now I'm just going to pry it a bit. Oh, there goes our light. You pry it up, and there you go. Now the shock's out, which means that I can pry on the lower control arm to get the spring out. So let's get to it.
Okay.
Now, with the shock out of the way, the spring comes out really easily. You just push down on the actual lower control arm, and there we go. It pops out. I'm gonna remove this and put the new spring on. Okay, now I got the H&R Sport spring. I'm gonna try to slide it back in here. This is the fun part. The battle. To get this to go in, you gotta push down on the controller.
Yeah, it's a tight
get that
fit.
sucker back in there.
This spring is not much shorter than the stock spring, is it?
No, it's not. Ay. There's the top that comes out, and I don't think I can.
Want me to stand on the lower control arm or something?
I don't want to battle this here. Well,
pry bar
see if I can. I may use. Well, the problem is you don't want to step on it too far because it's got one of those stupid sensors on the back arm there, and
yeah,
you don't want to
stretch that out.
Stretch that out too far. But let's see if I can pull this down.
You're close.
There we go. All right, we're in.
All right.
Here.
Well,
piece of cake, right?
Piece of cake, yeah.
Yeah, look at this face. See all the sweat coming down here? Yeah, piece of cake.
Anything for your brothers, eh, Pete?
They owe me. He owes me more than he knows at this point. So let's slap this sucker back together.
Yeah, not much left, right? Just those two bottom bolts again? And
yeah, we'll just put the two bottom bolts in. Control arm. Get that back together. And now we'll show you what it looks like on the ground. Here's our finished product. I am actually very happy with the results. I'd say the ride height is perfect. The drop's just subtle enough where the wheel and fender gap is gone, but not to the point where this thing's hammered to the ground and you're not going to be able to use it. So that wraps up yet another video. I hope some of you found it pretty interesting and useful. If you did, give it a like, and remember, we publish videos twice a week, every week, so make sure you subscribe.
Oh yeah, getting that back in there is a bit tricky. Did you clean it out with the Brillo pad and all that?
Didn't do shit last time. I'm doing it on this side.
You lazy sack of shit.